Am I the asshole for purchasing my guy friend his dream birthday present and outshining his girlfriend in the process? My guy friend, Tom, has been one of my best friends since college. We're in our mid-20s now, and we're both currently in committed relationships with long-term partners. I've never had feelings for Tom, nor has he ever had feelings for me.
Oh.
Since college, Tom has been a huge watch fanatic. 2 months ago, he was showing me this stunning vintage watch and made an offhanded comment about how he would die of joy if somehow he got his hands on one. Very coincidentally, I was in New York City a few weeks ago and stumbled upon this watch store that just so happened to have the exact one that Tom wanted. It was expensive, I won't lie, at about $2,500, but I decided to get it for his 25th birthday. To me, it was basically fate. My boyfriend and I do very well financially, so this was something that I could personally afford and wanted to buy for Tom, especially knowing how happy it would make him. Tom has a tradition of hosting a dinner party at his place for his birthday and then following that up with cake and gift opening. I told him before the dinner that my gift was a huge surprise and asked if he could save it for last, and he agreed. His girlfriend ends up going first, and she gets him this gorgeous sweater that was crocheted for him and a book that he's been wanting, which I thought was super thoughtful and lovely. Last, it was my gift, and when he opened it and saw what it was, he literally screamed, hopped over a bunch of people, squeezed me in a huge bear hug. I was so happy to see him happy. It genuinely filled me with so much joy. He even got emotional, and I saw him wipe a few tears. He also said that it was the best gift he'd ever received. The whole time, his girlfriend was only slightly smiling and stayed quiet. The next morning, I got a text from his girlfriend that essentially said that although she appreciated my thoughtful gift, she thought it was a bit out of touch and lacking awareness. She admitted that Tom had also told her about the watch and she wanted to get it for him, but it was way out of her budget. She accused me of knowing this, I had no idea, and still getting it to rub it in her face and to outshine her. She finished by saying how she felt like I had overstepped a boundary by getting the gift and would appreciate me not doing anything similar again in the future. I responded and told her that while I could see her point, I was just trying to do a nice thing for a close friend of mine. I asked her, wouldn't you rather he gotten the gift and seen the happiness that it brought him than him not getting it at all? She responded that the happiness was only shared between me and Tom and no one else, and that she felt hurt by my actions. Only my boyfriend knows about this, and he's on my side. By thinking through it all again, I do see how I could have overstepped, but my boyfriend says that it's not my job to apologize for her insecurities. So, am I the asshole here? Am I the asshole for ordering more food after I heard we were splitting the check?
What is up with people?
So I, 21 male, and a few friends went to celebrate a mutual friend for his birthday. It was organized by his partner, and we were planning on going to a kind of upscale restaurant in our city. Think suit and tie, dress code enforced. I showed up with my girlfriend, and we were having a good time. We checked the prices beforehand, and me and my girlfriend set a budget we wouldn't go over since we have other priorities besides dumping it all on a dinner party. We order the food and are having a good time. We stay under budget, but I noticed my friend's partner continually ordering more and more expensive food and drinks. I don't think much of it since it's his partner's birthday. When the bill comes, the table of 10 is suddenly told that the gift was that we were expected to split the check. Now it's my friend's birthday, and I've known him for close to a decade. I would have been fine splitting the bill however expensive it should be. To put in perspective, me and my girlfriend's bill came out to just under $200, give or take. The entire bill was nearly $800, and they still wanted to get dessert. I noticed that me and my girlfriend had the least amount of food and didn't get multiple appetizers, drinks, etc. The thing is, I know I'm more financially stable than my friends my age since I really just had the cosmic luck of landing a decent job out of school. So I could have contributed, but frankly, I felt this was a trap to get me to pay more than we budgeted. If they communicated prior to the dinner as an obligation, that's one matter, but suddenly telling us after everyone is mostly done eating seems sketchy at the very least. I had a quick text conversation with my girlfriend, and we both decided to order expensive desserts, raising the price even more.
Here for the petty. I'm here for it.
Now suddenly, when the bill comes, some people, especially my friend's boyfriend, doesn't have enough money to pay equally between everyone. They start bickering in a public restaurant, and my friend accuses me of intentionally raising the bill outside of their budget. I countered with how it was kind of rude to just expect people to pay stuff for him, and he said that it's his birthday. To keep the peace, I paid for only his meal, but left his drink and dessert tab for everyone else to split. I left with my girlfriend and paid our bills. When we were leaving, they were still arguing over the bill. That was yesterday. I woke up this morning to find on multiple social medias how I'm such a terrible person, how I raised the bill by ordering extra food. Mind you, they were all planning on desserts while we weren't. My girlfriend says I did the moral thing, paying for my friend's food, but I'm livid I got peer pressured into it. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my poor friend that he's actually the privileged one now?
Oh, no.
One of my very close friends, Nathan, 29 male, and I, 28 male, met during our first post-college job at a prestigious finance firm, and we immediately bonded over the long work hours, shitty middle management, and general soul-sucking nature of making PowerPoint slides and Excel sheets all day. For the next few years, a lot of our friendship revolved around us talking about work and how much we hated it. A few years ago, I decided that I couldn't take the corporate grind anymore, and I quit my job to move into the nonprofit world. While I'm now certainly making less than I would have at my old job, I'm exponentially happier, healthier, and absolutely love the work that I do. I also still make a very good salary, $80,000 a year, which I feel is more than enough money for me and my needs. Nathan has been ambitiously climbing the corporate ladder and recently became a VP at his firm. He makes well
Nathan.
over $300,000 a
Okay,
year.
Nathaniel.
Nathan grew up in a very poor family, and his relatives are still financially unstable and often ask him for money. I, on the other hand, grew up in a comfortable upper middle class suburb with parents who have always been financially stable. They're not millionaires, but if anything ever happened to me, they could and would help me until I could get back on my feet. Nathan does not have that privilege. I recently got offered my dream job where I would be making slightly less money than I am now, $75,000 a year. Despite the money, I'm genuinely giddy about this job prospect and was pumped to tell my friends. However, when I told Nathan, his response was, "I'm glad you have the financial privilege to take a pay cut." Not, "Wow, I know you've been really wanting this job for months now and have told me all about how excited you are. Congratulations," or anything along those lines. I'll admit that I snapped back at him and I told him that he makes triple the amount of money that I do, and that at some point he needs to realize he's now got privileges of his own instead of pointing out mine. The conversation got a bit heated, and we agreed to hang up and cool off before talking it over later. Now I'm wondering if I should apologize to Nathan for what I said, or if I should stand my ground. I'm feeling angry and a bit defensive, which I realize is exactly the reaction that a spoiled rich kid would have. However, I do think it was a bit mean of him to say that at that exact moment, when I was so excited. And while generational wealth does give privileges that income alone does not, he literally does make over triple the amount of money that I make now, so it seems a tiny bit hypocritical for him to be calling me privileged. As a final note, while my parents certainly are well off, they do not support me financially in any way and have not since I graduated from college 7 years ago. So I leave the judgment to you all. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for letting my son get cornrows? You guys saw me when I...
Yeah. I'm just imagining Maddie in cornrows.
I, 28 female, am a stay-at-home mom for my 3 kids, 1 male, 3 female, and 5 male. My husband, 30 male, is a biomedical engineer and works a lot. He's mixed. His mom is half black and his dad is black. I'm white. Our oldest son looks somewhat white with blue eyes, paler skin than our other 2, and light brown 3C hair. Prior to this, my son had natural hair like the other 2, but absolutely hated anything about the maintenance it requires. My husband has cornrows, he always has, and our oldest son loves them. He asked to get them himself, so I said yes. My sister-in-law ended up doing it for him last weekend. I never thought it would be a problem. I make sure to spend quality time with each of my children on their own every week. So after dropping my younger 2 off at my parents' on Fridays, I took my oldest out to go to the park, get ice cream, and go go-karting. We were having a lot of fun until a white woman at the go-karting place chastised me for letting my white son get cornrows. I told her that he was mixed, but she said he looks white and he shouldn't have cornrows, and called his hair trashy. My son was luckily not paying any attention, but it really upset me, and I'm wondering if I might be the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food after he ruined my food photos? I have an Instagram account dedicated to photos and short videos of food from local restaurants in my city. I don't turn meals into a whole photo shoot production when I go out, but I like to snap a few photos of everything as it comes out. I've got about 1,000 followers. It's just a hobby for me, but I have made friends with some other bloggers, and we like to go out and get pictures together and try new restaurants. I prefer doing this with my foodie girls because my boyfriend hates it and will go out of his way to take a big bite of the food or mess up his plate with his fork before I can snap any pics, and he'll roll his eyes when I take pictures of my own food, so I pretty much stopped bothering when we went out together. Money has been tight lately because of some medical bills, so I haven't been able to go out and eat with my foodie girls, and the infrequent date with my boyfriend is the only chance I get to eat out. I had to sit him down and say, look, let me just enjoy things, conversation with him, and told him that I was going to take pics of my food when we went out and that he could please just not be immature about it. And since we alternate who pays for dates, I told him I would appreciate if he could spare the 30 seconds for me to snap a picture of the appetizer plus his meal on the nights that I was paying. And I got a sort of half-hearted do whatever you want confirmation. Sunday was my turn to pay, and he let me take a picture of the appetizer with minimal fussing. But when the entrees came out, I went to snap a picture of his, and he messed it up with his fork, and then he reached over and stirred up my pasta to also ruin the photo of my own meal. I was so pissed off by that I refused to pay his half of the end of the meal, which pissed him off because he said he wouldn't have ordered a cocktail if he knew that I was going to skip my turn. He says that I owe him one because I don't get to just decide not to pay according to our agreement after we've already ordered. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling a pregnant woman to sit on the ground instead of giving her my seat?
Wait.
My nephews both graduated from high school this morning, and I wanted to sit up front, so I camped out a bit in front of the entrance. I brought my folding camping chair and my headphones to listen to my show. About 40 minutes before the school would let us in, a pregnant woman got next to me since somebody let her on the line. I assume her partner. She asked me within 5 minutes, politely, admittedly, if she could have my chair as she was going to have trouble standing the whole time. I said, no, sorry, I need it more. Bad feet/knees, and went back to my things. She asked again within 2 minutes, and the answer was the same. She got a little mad at me and said that she was going to be struggling the whole time and asked her partner to tell me. He asked me himself, politely, and I again responded that sorry, but I need it more, and suggested that she could wait in their car or just sit on the ground. At this point, the husband directly called me an asshole, but left me alone. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food and his birthday and getting him banned from a restaurant? I, 18 female, have been dating my boyfriend, John, 20 male, for a little under a year. We have a pretty toxic-free relationship, but there's quite a bit of tension when it comes to me being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since 11, and I have very strict morals about it. The one thing John has a problem with is me refusing to spend the money on meat. Ever since I started making my own money, I swore to myself that I would never spend a cent of it on meat. On our dates, we usually split the bill, and sometimes he pays for it all. I told him that if he orders something meat-free, I happily pay for the both of us, but he never does. And when he pays for my food, it's when I've spent money on the activity, normally concert, festivals. That's me paying like 120 plus euros on tickets and him spending maybe 50 euros on food. His birthday was a few days ago, and we went out for dinner at his favorite fancy restaurant. He got the most expensive steak they had along with a side salad and a bottle of wine. When we finished our food, I asked the waiter to split the bill, and John looked at me, shocked. He asked if I was joking, and I said no. And then he told me he thought I was going to pay since it was his birthday, and he didn't budget for the meal. I asked him why he thought I'd pay since I had been very clear about my rule, but he couldn't give me a reason other than it being his birthday. I told him that I'd pay for the wine and the side salad, but he needed to pay for the steak. He was furious with me and stormed off to the bathroom. I paid for my meal and the wine and the salad and waited for him to come back. He didn't. After waiting for 20 minutes, I left. I found him sitting on a bench near where we parked the car. I asked him why he left and reminded him that he needed to pay. He looked shocked when I said that and asked me if I didn't pay. I told him I paid for everything but the meat, and he lost it. He started yelling at me, telling me that I was selfish and that I needed to grow up. I stayed calm and told him that he needed to go back and pay. He scoffed and walked away. I ended up driving home without him. Now he's saying it's my fault that he can't show his face at his favorite restaurant since he dined and ditched. It's a pretty small restaurant, so he'd 100% be recognized and kicked out. So, am I the asshole?